Good morning. Yes, I'm actually prepared today. Almost wasn't. Forgot to set up my mic until about 3 minutes left to go. Silly me. But hey, I'm ready. I've got more than enough to talk about today. So let's have some fun with this. In fact, that's something that just come across that really sort of made my morning seeing this come across because Democrats are a little mad. Joe Biden's a little mad. And he's mad at other Democrats. Uh-oh. This is good. I like this. And let's start with the tweet that I saw that led me to this. Okay, yep. I need to make that a little bigger so it can be read. And Chris Cillizza is the one who started this off. Chris Cillizza. Joe Biden said 2 Democratic senators, vote with Republicans more than their own party. Is he right? Uh-oh. Now let's read what Joe Biden had to say about that. What Joe Biden actually said. Jump over here to CNN. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. And this is an article by Chris Cillizza. Ooh. Joe Biden said 2 Democratic senators vote with Republicans more than his own party. Is he right? Biden told a crowd in Tulsa on Tuesday that wasn't exactly his fault that Congress isn't passing more of his agenda. I hear all the folks on TV saying, why isn't Biden getting this done? Well, because Biden only has a majority of effectively 4 votes in the House and a tie in the Senate, with 2 members of the Senate who vote more than my Republican friends. By the note, terrific use of third party by Biden. Chris approves of that. Yeah. You know, the, what is it called? The royal third party, the royal we. Now, Biden didn't mention any names, but it's clear he's talking about Manchin of West Virginia and SEMA of Arizona. Yep, they are the 2 most likely Democrats to side with the Republicans. Both, for example, are opposed to abolishing the legislative filibuster. That means they're the 2 smart ones. You don't abolish a tool used by the minority when you are going to become the minority. You want to keep your own toolbox full. But the Democrats are so short-sighted. It's like when Harry Reid abolished the majority rule for judges. And he was warned, if you do this, it's going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court. And will that rule get abolished there too? And where simple majorities required instead of a supermajority. But Harry Reid was an idiot, short-sighted, because he wanted to push through his immediate judges that they wanted. They knew he couldn't get supermajorities on. And now it's come back to bite him in the butt because the last couple Republican judges nominated for the Supreme Court, they didn't get supermajority votes. They got through on a simple majority. These people think that they will always be in power, and they forget that they're not. They're not exactly the smartest tools in the toolbox. the sharpest tools. But is Biden right? Do they really vote more with his Republican friends? Well, first of all, I don't think Biden has any Republican friends. Let's get that out of the mark. He doesn't like Republicans. And, not really, but it's worth noting there's no perfect measure. Okay. So let's see here. What's he said? The latest bipartisan rankings show that Mnuchin voted against his party majority 38% of the time in 2020, while SEMA did 33%, which is the highest percentage amongst both Republicans and Democrats. But voting against your party a third of the time isn't the same as voting more with Republicans as with Democrats. The Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative group, give them both a 0 score so far in the 117th, while SEMA also gets a 0 in the 116th. Manchin got a 37, which is higher, where Collins came in at 18. So, yeah, I mean, remember, the Democrats and Siliza love Susan Collins and a few others. They really love these Republicans that vote against, the ones that, the never Trumpers. Let's start with those. They really love them. They really love the ones that vote against anything Trump was for. So but now they're getting all uptight because there's 2 Democrats that don't follow the party line on all votes. Oh well, you guys are they're hypocrites. That's all there is to it. They're pure hypocrites. But come back here to the bottom line. Reality differs from Biden's version of events. Manchin and SEMA may not be on board with every Democratic priority, but they're still with Biden far more than they're against him. But as far as Biden and the leadership is concerned, if you disagree with them at all on any issue, you're against them. I thought this was funny, Poor old Joe, he's upset that there's a couple Democrats who don't toe the party line across the board. Oh, wah. Well, good morning, Neil. Good morning. I'm having fun today. This is going to be a fun morning because yesterday was, sort of freewheeling the whole day. I've got stuff today that could last all day long. It really could. I've got a lot of fun stuff today. And the Democrats, they're eating their own. They're eating their own here. I'm waiting for the condemnation of Biden now for speaking out against 2 of his people in his own party. Remember how Trump was condemned by the media for when he spoke out against some of the rhinos and what they were doing? So, yeah, this is going to be fun. But anyway, I thought that was interesting there. Biden getting mad and Chris sort of coming to his defense. Now, I'm going to appear to be all over the place here this morning and coming back to Biden, but I'll come back to him later on because this next in here is another group that I really am not a big fan of. And nobody in their right mind should be a fan of these diversity hires or the people in charge of diversity hires. But when they get held to their own standards, then watching them squirm afterwards is going to be a lot of fun. And here is somebody going to be held. This is the beginning of Google diversity head being held to the standard that he is not going to like, but it's a standard that he's held out. And let's see, did that come across? Yes, it did. The Google diversity head has said Jews have an insatiable appetite for war. Now, this is from 2007. Somebody did a little deep dive on his blogs, went back deep into his stuff to find this. But isn't that what they do? Isn't that what these professional racists do? They go back and deep dive on anybody and everybody to find anything that they can use to cancel them. So we're going to be waiting to see him have to come out and apologize. Or is he going to lose his job because of something he said back in 2007? Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't like seeing somebody lose their job or something they said 10 years ago. Or in this case, 17? So this is 15 years ago he said this. So I'm not a big fan of somebody losing their job over something they said 10, 15 years ago. They may have changed their mind. But the left does not have a problem with it. The left does not have a problem with people losing their jobs. But the left does not have over what they've said, over what somebody said 10, 20 years ago. Remember, they've gone after what people said when they were in high school. They've gone after what people said when they're in junior high school. So to go after what this man said as an adult 15 years ago, it's not that much of a difference. It really isn't. Google's head of diversity strategy said in a 2007 blog post that Jews have an insatiable appetite for war and are insensitive to the suffering of others. The comments were part of a longer meditation or meditation from Kamua Bob, now head of the diversity strategy at Google, that also slammed Israel's military actions in Gaza and Lebanon that same year. So he was a research tech at Georgia Tech at the time, and his post, "If I Were a Jew," describing how he believed Jewish people should view the Middle East conflict. So I wonder if a white person were to write a blog about and started off with, "If I were a black, if I were an African American, if I were Hispanic," and try to tell them what they are supposed to think about an issue, I don't think that'd go off too well. I think that would be kind of shut down. But they're just we'll see what's going to happen here. If I were a Jew, I would be concerned about my insatiable appetite. So just because you're Jewish, you have an insatiable appetite for war and killing in defense of myself. Well, I should have no problem with killing in defense of myself. I've got no problem with that. If somebody wants to attack me, then I'm going to kill them. It's that simple. It's self-defense. In defense of myself, self-defense. So he's got a problem with killing in self-defense? Okay. And he was still actively publishing this blog in April of 2021. Self-defense is undoubtedly an instinct, but I'd be afraid of my increasing sensitivity to the suffering of others. Well, I've got no problem with being sensitive to the suffering of others. But if somebody is attacking me, threatening my life, threatening the lives of my family, my children, my grandchildren, my friends, I've got no problem with killing them. It's self-defense of myself and others. And if you have a problem with that, then one, never call the police, because they're going to come armed to defend you. So never call the police about, somebody's attacking you. And since you don't know why they attacked you, they may be suffering for some reason. So if you call the police to have them incarcerated, then you're being insensitive to their suffering. So no matter what happens to you, you can never call the police and you can never act in self-defense if you believe as this guy does. And Mr. Bob, I hope, would never call the police or act in a matter of self-defense. So, if I were a Jew today, my sensibilities would be tormented. I would find it increasingly difficult to reconcile the long cycles of oppression that Jewish people have endured and the insatiable appetite for vengeful violence that Israel, my homeland, has now acquired. Well, the only violence that they commit are against those who attack them. And that's true even today. You attack Israel, Israel attacks back in self-defense. If you don't want Israel to bomb your cities, don't bomb them. If you don't want Israel to come in and destroy your buildings, don't fire rockets from those buildings. Don't harbor terrorists who attack Israel in your buildings. It's simple. It's really simple. I don't understand what is so hard to think about it. Yeah, I don't have mine locked. Mine's just loaded. It's ready to rock and roll. That's one thing about a Glock. I don't have to worry about flipping the manual safety. My safety's built into the trigger. You got to take that extra step. I don't. I pull, squeeze, pull and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And it squeeze, pew, pew, squeeze, pew, pew. Yep. Bob wrote that the history of Jewish suffering, particularly the Holocaust, should theoretically provide Jews with more compassion. And it also provide them with a strong sense of self-defense. Never again. Never again also means that they will never quietly go to such a thing. They will fight back. They will defend themselves. They will be militarily strong. And their people will be able to defend themselves against attacks, against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So I don't see how this guy can be, he's obviously anti-Semitic. That's all there is to it. You got one of the good toasters. That's good. It's nice having a good toaster. I like toasters like that. I don't know how I could reconcile that identity with the behavior of fundamental Jewish extremists or of Israel as a nation. The details would confuse me. I wouldn't understand who suggests bombing Lebanon, slaughtering Lebanese people, and destroying Beirut in retaliation. In retaliation. Right there's the magic word. In retaliation. Why don't you understand that? In retaliation. That means somebody attacked them first. You don't just get even. You make it so that the other person will never attack you again. There's in the book Ender's Game. Ender, as a young child, is facing 3 bullies. He's had his chip removed from his neck, and the first day, 3 bullies are coming in, and they're going to attack him. Well, he verbally breaks it down to where only the biggest one, the leader, who is older than he is and much larger, attacks him. Well, he not only beats him, he almost kills the kid. In fact, I think he did kill him. But he continued to kick him even in the crotch after the man was down. Good morning, Becca. Neil, this guy isn't a Jew. This guy's a black guy. He's not Jewish. He's telling Jews what to say. He's telling Jews what to think. He's not Jewish. This is a black man telling Jews how they should be. I wouldn't understand the notion of collective punishment, cutting off gas, electricity, and water from some residents in Gaza because they are attacking Israel, who is fighting against them in self-defense. See, it all boils down to that. He does not want Israelis, and Jews to defend themselves. He doesn't want it. But I'll make a bet. I'd lay dollars and donuts. This guy fully supports what's been going on with the Black Lives Matter riots and protests for the past 18 months. I would lay $1,000 down on that. I would bet my bank account that he supports Black Lives Matter. Morning, Mr. Scott. No, he's just the head of Google's diversity program. But this guy is sitting there, and I would, like I said, I would bet my entire bank account. I would bet my wages for a year that this man supports Black Lives Matter. And he supports all the protesting that's gone on this past year. And he would excuse the rioting and all the damage done over this past year. I would bet on it. This, I mean, again, this is pure hypocrisy. This is pure hypocrisy. I'm going to post this. Let me get this into the there we go. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, did Chio show up? Chio, did I miss you? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Good morning, Chio. Good morning. I'm sorry I missed you walking in the door. I got the whole crew here now. But yeah, it just absolutely amazes me. Like I said, I've got a full ticket this morning. I mean, it's already been a half hour and I haven't even touched a third of what I've got sitting here ready to roll today. And so this is going to be fun. The diatribe is strong. I am yelling at the sky in full-throated roar today. Now we're going to get to some other good stuff. Now, this is Biden's Pentagon spokesman. Okay. This is Biden's Pentagon spokesman talking. And he is being asked about spying being done. Okay. I've got it all set up.
NSA, which is a military agency.
Okay, can y'all hear that okay? Is it a state? Shio, yes. Becca, my grandmother was deathly afraid of snakes. And growing up in Ohio, there's certain breeds of snakes are rather populous. And I found a dead gardener snake one time. I probably ran it over with the lawnmower. Philly cheese snake. And I took it in and I put it around the doorknob going to the house. I was probably somewhere between 8 and 10 years old when I did it. My grandmother, my grandparents' farm was out in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't even part of a town. It was part of a county. They had a county address. But it's up in the northeastern section. So, but anyway. Yeah, evil is right. My grandmother went to open the door. She felt that snake and screamed. My mother come out, saw that. I swear she wailed on my butt for a half hour. She wailed on me and wailed. Well, when my grandmother found out what she was doing, she got on my mom. And my grandmother knew that I wasn't doing it. I didn't mean it in mean, evil things. I just meant to have a little fun. My grandmother and I were close. Oh, did I learn? Well, I never did it again. I promise you that. I never did anything like that to my grandmother again, where my mom knew about it. But my grandmother had a few favorite nicknames she used to call me, which I'm not going to say. And I think I was the only person on the planet that could get away with calling her my favorite battle axe. And she'd just sit there and giggle and giggle and giggle when I'd say that. She was such a wonderful woman. Oh, Neil. Now, yeah, that's uh-huh. Was it a step ladder or was it an extension ladder? Yeah, people who have a fear of snakes, that I can understand it, but their reactions to it is so funny. But I don't do anything to people like that. Extension ladder, yeah. But I don't do that to people because, you know, maybe I've gotten more sympathetic to what they're going through. But as a kid, I just thought it was funny. But okay, so let's come back over here to this reporter and listen to this.
NSA, which is a military agency.
This is your way of saying, Kirby, you have to answer this question. You cannot punt on this one. Well done.
NSA spied on the French and German governments for years using Danish underwater cables. And the French government and the German government are demanding explanations to US. Do you have any explanation to give them?
Okay. So the United States, like every other country, you're right, Becca, any unreasonable, and I wouldn't even call it unreasonable fear. I should be afraid of snakes. I've been bitten several times by snakes. Fortunately, they've all been non-poisonous. And when I was in Arizona, I stayed away from snakes out in the desert. But you're right, though. It's always funny if it's somebody else. It's never funny to you, but it's always funny when it happens to someone else. But anyway, United States, I mean, we've got our allies spy on us. We spy on our allies. Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody likes to admit it. Nobody wants to, gentleman's agreement, you don't admit to spying on your friends. But you do. You do. And when somebody gets caught, in this case, the United States got caught, the offended countries are going to make a big deal out of it because they can use that as a poker chip in the next round of negotiations over something.
I'm not going to talk about intelligence matters. We value our allies very, very deeply, and I'm not going to speak to these press reports, and I'm certainly not going to get into intelligence issues.
Yeah, it's not press report, it's the French president and the German chancellor.
I know. I've seen the press reports of their comments. I'm not going to speak to intelligence matters.
Okay. I have another question.
Now, Angela Merkel, I want to be honest, I am not going to give two squats about what that woman's got to say. All right. She's all but destroyed Europe with her forced refugee camps that she's set up, importing millions and millions of refugees into the Europe, mostly Muslim refugees, forcing other countries to take them. Bye, dear. Oh, it's done already? Okay. My wife's going to go pick up her car from the mechanic. She's waving goodbye. Not give me a kiss. She just waves goodbye. But that is. Anyway, I couldn't care less what Miss Merkel's got to say. I really don't. She is a scum puppy. She has brought about the destruction as much as she could of Europe. She did what a certain gentleman back in the 1930s couldn't do. Hey, Sean, how you doing? But Angela Merkel's done quite a bit. And oh no, Becca, she's done a hell of a job of leading the European Union and the European nations down the path to destruction. Yeah, she's driving a loaner car from the dealership or from the repair shop. So yeah, she does need to drive careful. You're getting forced to get the vax? How's that, Sean? How can is it your employer forcing you to do it? And I'm surprised y'all didn't get an echo on that because I forgot to put it on my headset. Man, I was so proud of myself for having everything set up. All right, now I've got my stuff set up. I was so proud of myself having everything set up, and I forget to put in my headset. Didn't have my microphone set up in time. Oh, Sheil, I would have fun with that. Peer pressure from the family. Now, I will admit, I put a ton of peer pressure on my son and my daughter-in-law to get vaccinated, to get the shots because of my wife and I. All right, I do have a compromised immune system, and I wanted them to get vaccinated because I want to spend a lot of time with them, and I didn't want them to get me sick. I didn't want to take that chance. So yeah, I did really I didn't threaten them with no visit. I just told them that they needed to get it to keep me from getting it. I want to put a attack helicopter in photo of an Apache. Oh, Shio. I am so sorry. Oh, that's your brother, Sean? Diabetic, trouble breathing, and overweight. Well, I'm one of those. I'm overweight by massive amounts. But I don't have any trouble breathing, and I'm not diabetic. My doctors hate me because they don't understand why. But I don't eat a lot of sweet foods. I really don't. Oh, you. Oh, Sean. He, him, dude. Yeah. Yeah. If I ever got told I had to do it, I think I would want to put Your Majesty, my Lord, and Your Highness as mine. I know some guy in, I want to say Michigan. The college told him that they had to do that, and he did. That's what he put down, and by the college's policies, the way it was written, your hide ass. There you go. But he actually put down, I think, His Majesty, and by the college policies, they actually had the professors were required to refer to him as that. I think they changed the policies afterwards. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this whole thing, Angela Merkel, she's got no leg to stand on as far as I'm concerned here. The French government, come on, they're French. I remember when they denied the U.S. to fly over their airspace, to use their airspace to fly. I want to say it was to bomb Libya. Yeah, I want to say it's bomb Libya, to bomb uh, Gaddafi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So, yeah. Yeah, there was some issues there with France that again, use airspace. All right. Yeah, France denied U.S. overflights for the 1986 bombing of Libya. All right. And let's see. For the bombing a few days ago, Obama began bombing Libya on behalf of France. The French was the first and only country to recognize the rebels as the official government of Libya. They want French companies to negotiate oil rights from the rebels out from underneath of the Italians. Yep. So yeah, I've got no. I mean, again, France. Yeah. There are a couple of 18, 19-year-old twins arrested in Omaha or in Lincoln, or they had weird names like Your Highness, Mama Be on Crack. Okay, was that their names that they had their names changed to that, or what there, Mr. Scott? That's oddball. But yeah, I mean, I've got no real love for France. I've been to the country, went to Orange and Marseille. Um, Again, the French people are great. I mean, I had no problem with the French people. The maintenance hangar had a coffee, had a breakfast bar in it, and I had a coffee cup that I only filled halfway with coffee because that way I could walk around with it, not slop coffee around. And I drank my coffee black. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ms. Oh my God. Okay, I gotta share this. But okay. Siblings arrested in stabbing attack. Sadie Nicole Cope and Henurus, Your Highness Cope. Well, Sadie Nicole, I mean, that's not too bad, but okay. Henurus, Henorance, Your Highness Cope. Wow. A broken gin bottle and a clothes iron, stabbing 13 times his head, arms, legs. Ooh. Oh God. And they dropped the charges against her? Good God. Hein Royce. Oh, okay. Hein Royce, His Highness. I'm sorry I couldn't get to the mute button there. Oh, he's lucky it's not pronounced hemorrhoid. But I mean, I can't blame the spokesman for saying, "Hey, I'm not answering your questions." There's not a problem with that whatsoever. You're not required to answer every question, and some questions you just don't answer. And that would be one of them. That would be a question that, hey, I can't fault anybody for not answering it. Now, this one here, I'm surprised Biden. I mean, I know what he's saying, and I agree with him. If you watch, I mean, I've made the comment about it to my wife. You sit there and watch these commercials, what's going on in them, and I've made the comment to her about some about them. So I don't understand what is so bizarre about it. I mean, he's actually commenting on something that's out there.
Challenge you. Find today, when you turn on the stations, sit on one station for 2 hours.
Okay, now this is as loud as it goes. The microphone is really crappy on that.
Sit on one station for 2 hours. And I don't know how many commercials you'll see. Like 8 to 5. 2 to 3 out of 5 have mixed race couples in them. That's not by accident. They're selling soap, man. Not a joke. Remember old Pat Caddell used to say, you want to know what's happening in American culture? Watch advertising. Because they want to sell what they have. We have hope.
If anybody actually watches television today, you see this. There is car commercials. All right. More than half the time, it's going to be a woman driving the car. And most of the time, it's going to be a minority woman. On occasion, it'll be a white woman, but most times it's going to be a minority. Interracial couples everywhere. Even soap commercials, shampoo commercials. There's shampoo commercials. Interracial couples everywhere. It's a trend in advertising now. Every company's doing it. Like every company, when they're showing multiple couples, will have a gay or a lesbian couple. So it's not. I don't see what's so bizarre about it. He's acknowledging what's out there. And this month is going to be mostly gay couples on most advertising, with it being gay month. You're going to see it everywhere. Like the Fruit Loops and the Skittles. You're going to see advertisements, supporting the gay lifestyle and trans lifestyle and everything else everywhere this month. So if you weren't prepared for it, get prepared for it. And Biden wasn't making anything bizarre. He was acknowledging what's out there. And he was telling you why it's out there. They want to sell their product, and they want to make certain that they're appeasing the demagogues. So that's what they're doing. So, all right, now I'm going to get into a little more of these last couple I've got. These guys are a little more controversial. The media does not like these two. And I'm going to start with the one that is going to be the hardest for the media. The media doesn't like him. They do their best to bash him, but he's got a large amount of support in the populace. Mr. DeSantis, the governor of Florida, who is not very well liked by the media and the left wing. They've done their best to destroy him for doing the exact opposite of Governor Cuomo. But in his doing the exact opposite of Governor Cuomo, he's had much greater success. Well, now recently he's been putting a lot of, signing a lot of bills that the left doesn't like. And that includes this one.
Take a question or two.
Governor Stacey from Channel 8, I want to ask you about cruises. You fought to get the cruise industry back open, sued the federal government. Cruises are now scheduled to leave Florida this month, but they will have to follow CDC guidelines.
Not if we win our case, they won't. Not if we.
All right. Now, if you missed that, what the reporter is asking about, and this volume on these here, I don't understand why they, sometimes these volumes aren't the best in the world. The reporter is saying that the cruise ships will be coming out here soon out of Florida. DeSantis signed a bill saying that they cannot force people to release their medical history, which includes whether or not you've been vaccinated. Meanwhile, the CDC is saying that cruise ships must have that information. Well, the CDC doesn't make law. And now there's a lawsuit going on here. So back this up just a second.
But they will have to follow CDC guidelines.
Not if we win our case, they won't. Not if we win our case. That's the whole point. And nobody has fought harder, not just for cruises, but the entire leisure and hospitality sector in this state in its history than me. You go to any town and visit restaurants, and they will tell you, if I did not have the governor, if I had California or New York policies, I would have gone out of business. You look at hotels, you look at theme parks, you look at all this. And
I'll tell you what, I am going to support him 100%. He's right. He is right. When I work in the hospitality industry, we were shut down for a month. And then we were right back to work again. Now, the income, all right, the income was not as great. I'll be honest. We had a lot of empty rooms, but we were selling enough rooms that the owners of the hotel were able to make payroll every week and to keep up with the rest of the bills. They weren't making any profit. That's for darn certain. But they were keeping up with what they needed to keep up with to keep the business. Becca, that's the exact point that he's making. The CDC cannot violate HIPAA. They can't. They can't order you to violate HIPAA. And exactly, Neil, and under Governor DeSantis, our business was able to maintain. And like the owners and I mean, I do a lot of the accounting for the hotel, and as the owners and I discussed, sometimes they had to reach in their bank account a little bit to help make payroll and bills. Sometimes they didn't have to. But it was a lot better than being sitting there completely empty, because they still had other bills that they have to pay every month, whether or not they rented, they had one room rented or had every room rented.
We've been there and been the strongest advocate. What CDC has done by closing the cruise industry for over a year, 15 months, almost 14 months, they do not have the authority to do it. And so we're doing it because it obviously has hurt our state, but it's a larger issue than just the cruises. You cannot have just some bureaucracy that doesn't have the legal authority to do this, claim an emergency, and then shut down commerce. And so I can tell you this, all those cruise lines, if we win, they're going to be very much interested in doing the Florida business. And oh, by the way, we provided vaccine for a lot of their workers because they were so committed to doing out of Florida. But that case is in mediation right now. Maybe there will be a resolution. I mean, my view is ultimately, we want to vindicate the state's immediate interest with this, but there is a larger point, and I am confident we will win the case. We will win. We will write on the law. I think all the indications are that will be, and we will absolutely be upheld in the 11th Circuit. And so one way or another, we're going to get it done.
Bingo. The politics of fear, Becca, it's been the politics of fear for the past 18 months. The politics of fear. And the politics of fear was a political game to destroy Trump. Let's not forget that. All this has been was to destroy Trump. It's been a game by the Democratic Party, a game by the media to destroy Trump. Project Veritas, as hated as they are by so many people on the left, has CNN producers on record of recordings them stating that CNN intentionally played up the virus in order to destroy Trump. They did it on purpose. And that's what all this is about, to destroy. It's been a political game from the get-go. It's been nothing but politics from the Democrats and the liberals and the progressives from the get-go. They didn't care. Another thing, not only was it to destroy Trump, but to grab more power for themselves that once they got there, they're going to not relinquish very easily. Remember that too. They are not going to relinquish this power that they've gotten. That's why Whitmer in Michigan, that's the purpose of the recall. Because she is refusing to relinquish the emergency powers that she bestowed upon herself. That's what's going on in California with Newsom, with their recall efforts. These governors, Democrat governors, assumed all this power, and now they're not wanting to relinquish it. Then you have a governor here like DeSantis. You have a president like Trump, Trump had the opportunity. The Democrats were begging him to take full control and nationalize everything. And he refused to do so. He passed the authority down to the states. He said, I don't have the right to tell the states what to do. That authority belongs to them. They are sovereign entities unto themselves. DeSantis and Trump have both refused to take that drug, Becca. They did not take that drug of power. And that's what made the left and the Democratic Party so mad. This is all politics from the get-go. So, yeah, there's a lot to do here. A lot of this is going on. Exactly right. Exactly right. The more power that they could take and force and have Trump take and assume, that'd be power that they were left. Goodish. Yeah, I like that term there, Becca. Goodish politicians. They're not great politicians. They're goodish. They refuse to succumb to the power. They decided that they were going to follow the Constitution. There's that little amendment. Let's see here. There's this little amendment. I want to get this phrasing exactly right. Oh, come on. Why? I hate this. The nice little amendment here called the 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. You would think that the President Trump and governors like DeSantis, and DeSantis left it largely up to the individual communities, counties, and cities as to the only time he stepped in. He had to step in down in South Florida when they refused to close their beaches at all, or to limit their beaches, and we had a outbreak. Then he finally did step in down there. He stepped in a little bit down south. But as far as, most of the time he left it up to the individual cities and counties to control it. And they did it. And the individual counties and cities did a wonderful job for the most part. So these guys lived by the Constitution. They lived by what they were supposed to do. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. I mean, and neither one of them is getting the praise or the attention for it that they should have.
We are going to enforce Florida law. I mean, we have Florida law. We have laws that protect the people and the privacy of our citizens, and we are going to enforce it. In fact, I have no choice but to enforce it. I took an oath to enforce the law, and you don't say pass laws and then not enforce it against giant corporations. That doesn't work that way. Everybody is equal before the law, and we will absolutely enforce the law when it takes effect, which is not till July 1st, as you know. But we will do it, and we will do it fairly and vigorously.
All right, that's the last of that section. And yeah, there is, the companies start requiring you to divulge your HIPAA information. He's going to fine them. I love it. It's great. This is good things. These are good things happening. And the media and the Democrats hate it. The media and the Democrats hate it. Oh, wow. You're right, Becca. I'm not going to say the right is, and I've said this before. I'm a registered Republican only so that I can vote in the primaries. Florida is a closed primary state. I want to be able to vote in the primaries. So I did register as a Republican. Again, Becca, you're right. The Supreme Court was meant to hear. And the thing is the Supreme Court did that, took that power unto themselves. In the Marley case, they made the decision for themselves that they were going to be the constitutional arbiter. Now, I'm glad they did. But again, let's see here. All right, let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Senators. Okay. Okay, I'm reading Article 3 of the Constitution. And I'm trying to find where they talk about the Supreme Court here real quick. All cases affecting ambassadors. Okay, here we go. In all cases affecting ambassadors, let me get that shared. Okay. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, and those which a state shall be party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. In all other cases, before the Supreme Court will have appellate jurisdiction, both as law and fact, with such exceptions and under regulations as Congress shall make. Okay. That was the purpose of the Supreme Court. Right there. They were to be an appellate court. But then they also, and that was it. An appellate court, and then anything in dealing with the ambassadors, public ministers, consuls, and those in which a state shall be a party. The Supreme Court would have original jurisdiction. Oops. Clicked the wrong button there. But I've got no problem, the way it's turned and evolved here, yes. And I think it was, for the most part, I think it was the right thing. But Becca, you're right. The abortion case never should have been one of those that they got to. They should have refused to hear it. That was a state's issue. They made a mistake. It's not the first mistake they made, and it won't be the last mistake the Supreme Courts have made. Attorneys can argue to the vaccine issues. Oh, good point, Becca. Good point. I was going more along the lines of his violation of the HIPAA laws that you. But yeah, you've got a good point there. That's why I love having you here. That's why I love having you here. You're so much smarter than me on this stuff, but that's your job to be. Neil brings a lot. I mean, everybody here, that's one thing I like about you guys that come up here, is everybody brings very valid points. And sometimes, a lot of times, things I don't think of, points that I don't have, and I love it. Okay. Now, this next one here, I'm sharing this one for the pure fun and aggravation, because there's only one other Republican that is absolutely more hated by the left than this one, and that's MTG. MTG is probably the most hated of the new Republicans out there. Even a lot of Republicans don't like her. I'm not going to say I don't like her. I find her more amusing than anything else. She is the Republican AOC, just not as stupid. Just not as stupid as she is. Where is it? Here we go. How did that get buried all the way down there? Now, Neil, I haven't said who I'm bringing in yet. Because I'm bringing her in now. Okay. Do you recognize who this is? Lauren Boebert. I'm assuming that's the way she pronounces that last name. She is the one that wanted to bring guns into the house. Wear her gun, concealed weapon. And the left does not like her at all. So let's see here. Make sure I got the volume up. I'll back this up just a tad to see if you make certain you all can hear it.
Provide a list.
Great, thank you. We will expect that and submit that into the record.
Okay. Oh, you've never heard of her, Becca? Oh man, yeah, she is. She is. I'm not going to. Neil, you may. You're not too far wrong calling her a beast. Yeah. Yeah, now you know who she is, Becca. Could you hear that okay? Yeah, this woman is, and I'm surprised now when I'm surprised that she was actually kind of wimpy here for a little bit.
Thank you so much. Now let's talk about probably the worst conflict of interest. You were the deputy director at the State Energy and Environmental Impact Center at the NYU School of Law, or SEEIC. According to an email that I have here dated August 25th, 2017, SEEIC sent emails to numerous Democrat Attorney General's offices stating that it would provide state AG offices with legal assistance from 3 full-time attorneys, communications help from a full-time communications expert, and that there was funding available to recruit and hire special assistant attorney generals to work as staff for the actual state attorney general's office. So now, please, Ms. Klein, let me.
Okay, now could y'all follow what she was talking about there? Good. All right. A state college is going to state attorney generals across the country, offering their assistance, advice, and supplying them with paid attorneys that could be designated as special attorney generals for the individual states. Okay. And she's leading up this group.
Let me get this straight. Michael Bloomberg funneled private money through SEEIC that you used as deputy director to hire and pay special assistant attorney generals that worked for the state AG offices and sued the Trump administration on energy, climate change, and environmental regulations. So basically, SEEIC helped infiltrate state governments with Green New Deal extremists for the sole purposes of suing the federal government on environmental policies you all disagreed with. Yes or no?
Now, her shirt's not cut low. It's just below her collarbone. But yeah, she does have an awful long neck. But yeah, her shirt's right here. It's not that low cut. It's just below the collarbone. But yeah, you're right. She does have a giraffe neck and a very narrow face. And them glasses do her no favor. They shouldn't be quite that wide. They should be or low. You know, those glasses and I mean, she does her looks no favor with the glasses and her hairstyle. But that's beside the point. That neither one fits her facial frame very well, I don't think. But I'm not here to discuss her looks. I'm above that. I don't pay attention to women's looks. I pay attention to their minds. Right, Becca? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Aren't we supposed to ignore what women look like and pay attention to their minds? The chick that played Blossom, okay. But yeah, did you understand, what's going on here? Michael Bloomberg gave the college all this money. Hey, Johnny, good morning to you, sir. But Michael Bloomberg was paying for all these lawyers to become special attorney generals to sue Trump. And they did it through NYU SEI and through this woman.
Ms. Klein, you're welcome to answer that question, but I do want to advise members that they should keep their questions and remarks limited to the subject matter under consideration in today's hearing. That is under Committee Rule 3D.
Yeah, that's weird the way he's got his office blurred out there behind him. That's just weird. What is it about his office that he doesn't want people to notice? Does he have naked pictures hanging up there or something? That's just weird.
But please proceed.
Thank you. I'm certainly happy to provide information about.
And don't tell me this here isn't a setup. Having this big old mom thing hanging right here. And then, it's just perfectly positioned off of her shoulder. Yeah, somebody set this up so that this looked this way.
Thank you. I'm certainly happy to provide information about the work of the center, where the center can provide you with information about their work. Again, I'm taking my ethics obligations very seriously at the Department of the Interior.
Okay, and thank you for your comment, Mr. Chairman. When senior officials from the Trump administration came.
Now, I'm going to back this up because I'm going to back this up to here because she asked for a yes or no question answer.
You all disagreed with, yes or no?
Okay, she asked for a yes or no answer. Back this up to here.
Thank you. I'm certainly happy to provide information about the work of the center, where the center can provide you with information about their work. Again, I'm taking my ethics obligations very seriously at the Department of the Interior.
Okay, and
okay, she refused to answer the question. She didn't say yes or no. She says, I take my ethics serious. Well, earlier here, she has to she is the ethics oversight has told her that if she gets this job, she's got a whole laundry list of decision areas that she must recuse herself from because of her past actions that she's got personal ties to. So she must recuse herself from a whole bunch of stuff. And she refused to list them. She goes, well, I'll have to give you that list. She refused to say what the list was.
and thank you for your comment, Mr. Chairman. When senior officials from the Trump administration came before this.
Basically, she's saying, hey, I'm just doing what you did.
From different states and or the District of Columbia, yes or no? Thank you. Now, Ms. Klein, did SEEIC also make available 3 full-time attorneys to Attorney General offices from different states and or the District of Columbia? Yes or no?
Okay, remember right here, she asked again for a yes or no answer.
So I take my ethics obligations at the Department of Interior seriously. I work closely with our ethics officials to make sure that I abide by all of my recusal responsibilities.
Reclaiming my time. Thank you so much.
Again, she's not answering. This is the same thing that ticks me off before. They never answer the questions. They don't answer the questions that they're put before them. And I'm surprised that reclaiming my time. I'm surprised that she didn't go off on it, because she doesn't. And I'm sorry, but if that'd been me, I would have been pulling a Jim Jordan or Ted Cruz and and even the Kennedy character, and climbing all over them for not answering. I said yes or no answer. Which is it? Don't give me that. I'm going to abide by my ethic responsibilities. Don't give me that line of garbage. I want a yes or no answer.
It's unfortunate that you're coming before this committee and not providing adequate information. Mr. Chairman, serving at the highest levels of federal agencies.
The rest of this is just saying that this woman should never be in that position that she's been nominated to in Interior. You're right, Becca. That's it. That's is in effect what she's doing. I'm not going to answer your questions because what I might say is going to hurt me. I don't want the American people to know what I'm really about. I don't want you to know what I'm about. I don't want the American people to know what I'm about. At least I don't want it to come from my lips, because anything you say, I can deny. I can say you're attacking me because you're a partisan hack. But so I won't admit to what I'm doing. And it's not just the people on the left that do it. It's some of Trump's people did it too. But it infuriates me when it happens. Answer the questions being put before you by the Congress people. That's what you're up there to do. But then the onus is also on the congressional people, on the members of Congress, to ask honest questions. Oh, yeah, I doubt she can recite it either. That's why she's said that she works very closely with the ethics panel, because she can't answer those questions. So, okay, let me close this out here real quick. And let's see. Sort of ran through these here pretty fast today. I guess I wasn't as ranty about some of them as I thought I was going to be, because I went through about 6 or 7 different items there, and it's only been an hour and 35 minutes. I'll ask her to cite the ethic violations that she's been told that she's committed, and that she's got to recuse herself from in the future. Not just supply me a list, but I want to hear them out front. Yeah, Mr. Scott, we can use a palate cleanser. I didn't come up with one today because I had too much fun. I was laughing so hard with the stuff that I had there. From Chris Cillizza, defending people voting against the Democratic Party. Yeah, Mr. Scott, the stuff does drive me nuts. It does in a way. Okay. Let's see. Let me come back over here to YouTube. It's something I watched earlier. Let's see if I can. Okay. In fact, it's actually a new sub because I thought it was where there's my subscription list. Oh Lord, where is it? Let me see. Here we go. Found it. Bustin' fried chicken myths. Okay. Now we all love fried chicken. Well, I'm glad you like it when I vent. I like it. And Becca, I tell you, you did one last night that you beat me to the is one I'd already picked out last night, and then you went and did it. And you said everything that I was going to say. So I just left it alone. It was in the first part of your show last night. Part that I missed. And then I watched it on replay this morning, and you were absolutely on point with it last night. And I've a lot of credit to you on that. I just couldn't add anything to what you'd done. So your rant last night was amazing. Your rant last night was absolutely amazing. God give you full credit on that. But I'm going to watch some more of these guys' shows because they seem to be a bit on the fun side. And let's see, I'm going to come. This is a 22-minute video. And I'm going to come down here to. Here we go. There, start right about here. And when you're right, Becca. And you were 100% right. And you everything you said was on point. All right. Was it Mythical Kitchens? I found this by accident this morning. It showed up in my feed, and I couldn't help but watch part of it. I sort of skimmed through it. But when they're sitting there talking about frying chicken and which is better, deep fried or cast iron fried. And I'm a fan of cast iron fried. I'm a fan of buttermilk for a couple of hours, not overnight, but for a few hours, soaking my chicken in buttermilk, and then into the flour, then back into the buttermilk, or into an egg wash and then back into the flour again or breadcrumbs. That's the way I do my fried chicken. Okay. Oh yeah, a clean kitchen. You know, you were talking about bleaching toys on your show last night. My wife works with young children in and she has to bleach their toys every night when they're done. All their hard toys. So, okay. Here we go.
Completely.
Rest.
Y'all can hear
Fly
them,
like
right?
paper, get high like planes.
And that was a pretty good throw, actually. I might get there.
The grease helped it go. It's getting to him.
Yeah, okay.
I have received your correspondence. Did you send a carrier pigeon back? Yeah, these are the carrier pigeons that we have butchered and slaughtered. No, so we figured out the best route to fried chicken, right? It's a dry brine. It's double dredged. That's been rested an hour. But now is the final myth. We got to test cast iron versus your standard deep fryer. So we're switching from the deep fryer because we figured most people at home, right? They're deep frying in a pot. You're getting pretty much the same effect of the deep fryer. And we're testing that against a shallow fry in a cast iron. A lot of people insist that chicken has.
Okay. So let's take bets here. All right. I'm going with cast iron. I love my cast iron. I've got a crap ton of cast iron, but I've got a 16-inch cast iron skillet that I use whenever I deep fry my chicken. It's 16 inches across and it's 4.5 inches deep. It weighs a blasted ton. But I can fry up some fried chicken in that with no problem. Undead Ramen, good morning to you. Welcome, welcome. So, one for your deep fried chicken, or two if you think the cast iron chicken is going to come out as a better. Because they've already determined that a dry brine is better. And of course, double dipping your chicken is better. And then letting your chicken rest for at least an hour before frying it is better. You're right. Pan frying and deep frying aren't the same. Morning, useless. But which one do you think turns out the better chicken? Everybody seems to be going with the cast iron skillet.
Has to be fried in a cast iron or some heavy bottom pot because you're getting pan contact with the fried chicken that adds browning, right? Maillard reactions, flavor, V jobs, science, Titism, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's out there with the planets doing God knows what. What I'm saying is, fry some chicken.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to drop just 4 chicken legs into the deep fryer. We're doing this at both the same temperature.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
Nicole, you're going to drop 4 in there, and you got to move it around about every minute. So you're going to be constantly sort of flipping there.
Can I use tongs?
No, use your hands.
No, I'm not.
Into the fryer, Nicole. You got to go quick. 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 So I have these dropped in the deep fryer. But again, I got a little oil in my fingies. Yeah. That's nice. You see you got some of that chicken sticking out there, and then about every minute, you're going to flip that over because you can see it's actually resting against the pan. So we're going to test what creates the best flavor.
Okay. Now that skillet, as far as mine goes, that skillet that they're using it's not as deep as mine, but they got the right amount. You're right that I don't think that oil is hot enough. They're saying that they have it at 325 to 350.
Myth Munchers.
I'm sticky.
All right, let's flip it.
Flip it. Wow, look at that.
Look at
My
that.
yard reaction.
My yard reaction.
Wow, who's my yard? And what's his reaction? Am I right?
He's like a guy. Are you okay?
No, I think I went deaf in my neck here.
So if you see like this browning here, right? That's what people say cast iron does better. But I don't know if that's actually going to create a more flavorful chicken. Why do we have all four of us here? I feel like I'm hugging all my
We
children.
love each other.
Please don't touch me. I get anxious when people touch me. All right, so if you see the browning right here, that's why people say cast iron has the advantage because you're getting, the extra flavor bits from those slightly darker pieces. So I think you're gonna get a more even coating on this one. But this one, maybe you'll get more flavor. Please no one touch me. All right, so we got the deep fried chicken out and we got the cast iron fried chicken out. You see there's like some more excess browning on that. So the cast.
All right. Now, my personal opinion, they didn't let this cook long enough. That should be, I like my chicken a little bit more crusty when I do it in a cast iron skillet. I like a little bit more crusty here. And this still looks a little pale to me. Well, it looks like, Ramen, it looks like what they did is they just turned the chicken to the four sides, so what didn't come in contact didn't get browned. Yeah, if it's overcooked, it's shot. Okay, where is it? Here we go.
Cast iron definitely did its job. These are probably going to taste different. Should we start with the deep fryer?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Great.
I'm gonna take the baby one.
All right.
I take this one.
Do you smell it?
Yeah, of course.
You smell like chicken?
Mmm.
I'm gonna go fried chicken now.
So,
Did you guys learn that eating fried chicken is just a fun time? That's
Yeah.
what we learned.
yeah.
I learned that I love my job for reasons such as this.
Okay, classic, evenly fried, crispy, breading stays on there. Now let's try this cast iron. Am I going for the?
Now that chicken does look good. It looks like it's well cooked here. It's not too deep, or it's not too pale, and it doesn't look like it got burned or overcooked.
For the big
Yeah,
honking.
yeah.
Big
No,
kahuna.
we'll
Probably stay in the same.
Okay.
You touched my chicken, but I'm eating.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I think we maybe
Okay.
got a little bit more grease soakage in this. But let's focus on the flavor.
Hot.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
Look at the steam coming
I have to smell this one.
Smell the difference. You smell the difference. There's a noticeable like roasty, toasty, smell on the cast iron, but then that aroma, it comes through in the flavor. Like you're getting these kind of like, it's not burnt. I mean, it really just is browning flavor that I didn't think would affect anything, but like now that I'm eating them side by side,
Oh my.
oh,
Now, anybody that cooks knows that your nose, your olfactory senses, I actually said that word right for a change, is part of your taste. They work together. You know that. These guys are acting like they're surprised.
Mouth is
The
hot.
cast iron is like next level.
next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much juicier. The chicken itself is a juice bomb.
And the skin to skin difference is like so noticeable.
It gets crispier because of that pan contact. You're getting that extra crunch on there.
Wow.
Dang, that ain't no myth. That hits. That is good.
Big hitter.
All right, so as we found out, cast iron is the way to go. It does create a more flavorful fried chicken.
Definitely.
Oh.
Okay, so what they're saying is the best, instead of soaking the chicken overnight in buttermilk, a dry brine. Now they use a Tony Chachere's dry brine mixture. Then single dredge or double dredge, we all know double dredge is going to work. All right, you never take chicken straight from the flour to the oil. You always let it rest. So that's another no-brainer. And the cast iron versus deep fried, cast iron's no. The only one that really surprised me is the dry brine winning over a buttermilk brine. Well, you know they can't season when they use Tony Catcheries. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they use Tony Catcheries to give them their flavoring. They mix that in with the flour. So you know they can't season. So it wasn't. Come on, Spanky. Come on. You want up here? Mama's gone. The cat's playing, and Puppers is sitting here looking at me, whining like he's whining like a little puppy. No, my cat is asleep out on the couch most likely, or up on his post. The Jack Russell, that Spanky, he's sitting here next to the bed whining at me, whimpering away. He wants outside, but that's on the other side of the house. He can last another 10 minutes, 8 minutes or so until I shut this thing down at the 2-hour mark, because I do have to get I've got to actually cook supper before I leave for work today. And so I've got to cook up something to eat for tonight. It's a Southern Thing channel. Is that? I'm gonna have to look that one up, Undead. I gotta look that one up. But yeah, this was my palate cleanser. Finding this one here. Should have broke this one out a little bit earlier, but I had too much fun with all those other ones. Today was sort of a gold mine. Today was sort of a gold mine with what I found from Chris Cillizza and Biden, and then DeSantis and Boebert. It was a gold mine. I loved it. A lot of quick things to cover. The racist working for the anti-Semite working for Google and their diversity program. These guys, today was just pure fun. And I loved every second of it. I mean, I was excited. I was excited when I got up and got on Twitter and such. Yeah, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. I mean, I'm busting chops on Google. I'm busting chops everywhere today. It was fun. The Southern Spelling Bee. Okay, well, it's okay. I'm going to go about 5 minutes early here, but I want to thank y'all for showing out. Becca, man, your show last night was great. I loved it. I watched what I could last night, and then I watched the rest this morning when I got up and drinking my cup of coffee. So, and like I said, your rant last night was spot on. Great job. And my presence is being demanded by the pupper. He wants outside. So I've got to take him. And y'all please have a good day. Love the one you're with and be with the one you love, because that is the way you get love in return. Bye now.